It's still going too far down. Like as soon as we hit it, this thing starts moving down and it should be moving up, I guess. Maybe it's not supposed to move at all. Because it's based off of the center of the thing, so it's supposed to just stay centered. Right? Maybe any movement is what's causing the problem. There are some things to optimize with the bot playlist. The one that you've got, or the one that the community playlist, or the bot challenge playlist, or both. The one that you have. So I'm not sure if you mean the one you have physically on your machine, the one that is the community playlist currently, which is the one you gave me, or the bot challenge playlist, which is the one out there that is called bot challenge. Alright, so that looks like it's working properly. So the question is, with this guy, because it's a fill, we probably want to, yeah. So if it's a fill, it'll try to, it's best to fill this thing, and that's going to actually do all this. So why is the... There's pretty much no reason to use a fill vertical then. Like pretty much you're just going to be using this vertically aligned center. Well, maybe no, there's no reason. The one you got is the same one that I have, and the one that... So you mean... No, that is not true. The one I have for the community playlist, I have made small alterations, such as not having 14 players for many bots. So it is, the community playlist is a different thing. And I'm assuming if you have some changes, your file is even more different. So you're basically saying you have updates to the community playlist that you probably want to put in there. You do not have them yet. Well, cool. If you do update that playlist, just send me another file, the playlist file, and I can update what we've got currently out there. Alright, so I think I can write up an email to Adam now about all the things. Let me see. Let's see. This is UI. I'm gonna have to just get on a call with him and talk about all this stuff, because there's no way in hell I'll be able to get across to him how all this crap works. So maybe I shouldn't even start. You think it's combining too many custom modes at once? Well, that's probably what you want to use the collision list for, where if you have the collision list set, like 2 different modes aren't going to be combined into one. The other thing you can do is lower the number of random options that are chosen. Yeah, the collision list for the playlist stuff is what you're looking for, I believe. I can pull it up real quick for you. So inside of your collision, your playlist config, we've got the sticky ball custom, and here's the community playlist I put here. So you have this set collisions right here. This is what I'm talking about with all the stuff. Basically, what you're looking for is that if you have set collisions here with a string in there, no 2 things with the same string can be in the same thing. Yeah, that should define things that don't go together. Say you have a high jump and a super high jump setting, you'd want a collision list that says, jumps. And so that way you wouldn't have high jumps and super high jumps ever at the same time, because it's like, oh, you can only take one that has the jumps set collision. So that's what you're going to want to set up to prevent, like hard bots and easy bots from being in the same decision. I'll just organize this a little bit, just so it's a little bit easier for me to read it. So I don't know if that makes sense based on your reaction there, so you'll have to tell me if that explanation made any sense at all to you. Yeah, like you've got AI always hard as a thing here, but probably you don't want that to collide with you know, like patient human bots or something like that, maybe. The other thing that can be easier to control, like if you, yeah, anything that combines the same properties that you don't want in there. Um, but it sounds like you might actually want different game custom modes more than you want properties, to be honest. Because custom game modes are basically, here's a preset. You don't call all of them bot mode. You have a set collision on the custom property, you know, the custom option, so it collides. You want. I mean, honestly, probably what you want is a little bit different. Probably what you want, so you have more control over what's going on, is you probably just want to pre-make the modes out of the option sets. And that way it's not selecting, it's not actually dynamically creating any new custom modes, it's just, it'll use the custom modes that you defined. Yeah, set all the bot modes to the same collision, but you should use the right terminology. You're not setting the bot modes, you'd be setting the custom options which affect bot AI. So you're changing the set collision for the custom option. The custom options together create the custom mode, of which you already have, it looks like, about 6 or 7 custom modes already predefined. So it's when it dynamically creates a brand new randomly generated custom mode, that's where it actually uses those options, option set collisions. So that's kind of why I was saying it might be that you want to just use the custom modes, so you have pre-made ones that you control, because the randomness can make things that are a little that don't always make that much sense, right? So it might be better in some cases to have like human hard bots and then also have human hard bots with jumps, and that can be easier to make as a pre-made thing as opposed to just setting up the randomness so it comes in and helps a little bit. Because the randomness is not intelligent in how it's random, it's just random. So you won't get the match that you really want, I think. And I do not expect all this stuff to be super amazingly straightforward. If you don't have any programming experience or logical, logical like mathematician experience, this stuff doesn't click until you start thinking a certain way about it, and that certain way is not intuitive to humans. Yeah, basically, that's why I use stuff like Visio to diagram stuff. So basically what's going on here is a game has a game mode that it uses. So what it does is it goes to, when the game starts, it's going to go to the playlist and it's going to say, hey, I need a new game mode. So what the playlist is going to do is it's going to say, all right, well, I've got a list of pre-made game modes. And so what I can do there is, it's got this, a few of these little guys hanging out, and it can say, oh, well, I'll grab a few of these. So it's going to say first here, give me a couple pre-made modes, please. The next thing it's going to do is it's going to go and it's going to say, okay, well, I need more modes, so it's going to say make some new random modes. And so we have all these game mode options, such as high jumps and patient bots and all that sort of stuff. And what you want to do is you want to have a collision list, a set collision. So if you had something like the bot difficulty collision set, then when this guy goes and jumbles up all the modes, the options together to make a mode, it's only gonna take one from the bot difficulty collision set. So it'll roll like, okay, let's get a new game option. Okay, patient bots. All right, cool. Let's roll another option. All right, hard bots. Well, I already have something in the bot difficulty thing, so I'm going to roll again. And it's going to roll again, and it'll get high jumps. But it's not going to combine these two. So like if you have the patient human bots game mode that you've made, it's not going to go grab high jumps and randomly add it to your game mode up here. So what you want to do is the random game modes are kind of just a grab bag to help you with some random crap. The goal of the random game mode option dynamic stuff is really just to come up with pre-made game modes that have good variables in them that work. So what I would do is if you're experimenting with a few game modes, just use a whole bunch of random crap put together, and then once you kind of get an idea about what you're doing, really you should just be tweaking your pre-made game modes and not using a whole bunch of random stuff, because basically you should be using the random generation to make new modes that make sense, and then saving those modes as things that were fun. So you're like, all right, cool, that thing worked. But the random stuff is really just lazy, and the only reason we have it in there was because it's supposed to be just random and new every time, and it's supposed to allow us to get feedback on stuff that we wouldn't be testing ourselves because we just don't have the time. Which one of options for next match, default modes, random option set limit is influencing which? Options for next match is how many options there will be on the UI screen for the next match. So if you have options 10, it's literally going to have 10 different options when you go to the voting screen. So there'll be 10 things stacked up. The default modes is how many of the default modes that it's going to take. So right now for this one, default modes is 5. That's how many default game modes will be selected out of these. So right now, you have the number of options for the next match at 5 and the default modes at 5. It will never randomly create any new game modes because it's going to fill it up with all of the default options you've already created. So right now it will not randomly create new ones. If you had 5 options for the next match and 2 default modes, it would then have 3 randomly created modes. That's not true. It actually have 2 because the default game option is always the last game one. So it's pretty much, if you have 5 options for the next match, you're going to have 4 options that are actually new. Of those 2, it's going to then do the default modes. It's then going to create the random. So right now you're not using any randomness. You're just basically, the only randomness you're doing is it's going to select random game modes here they've already made. So it's not dynamically combining option sets right now. The always in rotation flag basically says pick this as a default option first before, if there's any slots left, take me. So if you set like always in rotation to true for all these, like you have high jumps that's always in rotation, basically right now there's going to be 3 randoms and it's going to select one of these 5, one of these 6 as one of the 3. So I hope that makes sense. Random option set limit. That is how the maximum number of random options that are used. So it's pretty logical in how it works, in that I should not say it is intuitive. It's not intuitive in how it works. It's logical in how it works. It rolls a random number between 1 and the maximum number. So like it rolls a random number between 1 and 5. Say it rolls 5. It's going to then take 5 random options out of the option list and it's going to combine those together. So if you want more random variables on game modes, increase that to something. And if you put it to something really big, it kind of does its best to figure out. So if you put it to something like 20, there aren't 20 options that all fit together. So it'll just pick a bunch of them. But even if you pick 20, there's only a 50% chance that it would pick a number 10 or greater. So if you want a whole bunch of them, then put it to something like 10, and you'll have a lot of custom, a lot of different game options come together to make your modes. And that's where really the collision set stuff comes in handy. It's basically like pick as many random things as you can. Yeah. Alright, so that playlist config is there. How many random sets can be combined in one match? I wouldn't put it that way. I would say random option set limit limits how many random options can be used to construct a new game mode. It does not have anything to do with a match. So it has everything to do with a dynamic, a randomly created game mode. And this is why Adam has so much trouble talking to me about things, is because you can't use pronouns. You have to use very specific language on exactly what you mean. So, Adam will say something, and I'll be like, I have no idea what you mean. And he's like, I mean, like, I understand it. I understand you're being logical and being a total tool about everything. But, normal people don't talk like that. And it's like, well, I've basically undergone brain training that makes me completely reject anything that doesn't conform to a very structured communication system. Therefore, I have lost the ability to be intuitive with the meaning of things, because as soon as there is ambiguity, my brain just says, no, bad input, bad data, get rid of it. Alright, so I think what I'll do is I'll just send a message to Adam, and I will say, I got UMG working with scaling properly and all the things. We can use it. And it works. There are a lot of caveats. Weird shit to deal with, but it should make sense. Alright, well, I'm going to double check a few things real quick. The Maelstrom guys are saying they're having some problems with high latency on the servers that are running right now. So I can take a look at that. So let's see. They're currently running 3 instances with 10 games on them. And let's go to these guys. So if we take a look at the stats for these fleets, let's go to metrics and CPU utilization. Alright, so if I go and hit that play button, I should be matched into a game, and I can check out the latency. Because it may be like what's happening is there's more people playing right now because it's the weekend or whatever. And we were pretty aggressive and in scaling some of these things. Like we doubled the number of games. So the other thing is ping getting set? Let me see. The Maelstrom all events. Do we have ping? Ping is in the numbers value. I'm going to take a look and see if ping is set properly for this thing. Visual Studio. Just open up the text editor portion of yourself. Yeah, alright, I'm not reporting ping properly for the server, so I can't use the telemetry. So I'm watching that latency in the top right. We're getting at 60, 72. Just waiting for this game to start. Everything's looking pretty good. Yeah, basically, one of their producers on there, and he's asked me about latency stuff, seeing if things are stable, and as far as I can tell, things look like they're okay. So this kind of happens in online games. That was a really, really bad shot. Do I have nothing equipped? I thought I'm supposed to have, like, stuff equipped here. We're just destroying this guy. Yeah, everything looks fine for latency here. Alright, well, it looks like if anything's going on, it's going to be localized to a specific instance or something like that, because I'm not seeing any problems. This is kind of the thing with online games. People will report a whole bunch of latency and problems, and you'll think it's a big deal all at once, and it'll just be that, in San Francisco, that there's, work being done on some line, and, everybody from there just happens to be, getting shitty pings. So it's really important when you're doing server work to not just assume everything's broken all the time. Because what you'll do is you'll end up trying to fix a problem that doesn't really exist, and you'll make it worse. So what I'm getting right now is, I don't see anything going on. Damn, that guy is hauling ass. It's crazy. So after this, basically what I'll do is I'll go check and see if there's anything that I can actually do. Oh yeah, just that. You're not gonna like that. Let's go kill that guy. You got the producer guy. He's like, everything going from like 80 to 250, and it's just crazy, blah blah blah. And I'm like, I'm streaming right now, and my latency is rock solid, and everything else. I think. This is why you don't have producers uh, do all your things for you. Get back here, you bastard! I'm just ignoring the guy behind me. I don't care. I just want to kill that other guy. Leave me alone. I'm just trying to kill that other person. Shit. Alright. So, I'm going to have to get off of stream if I'm going to be SSHing into servers and doing all that other stuff. So, and I got everything done today that I wanted to do, which was, I got the other stuff. I got the Slate UI stuff fixed. So that's what I'm trying to do. All right. So let's see. I have proof of concept, UI widgets, and all that. So thanks for sticking around. I will not be streaming, I think, until tomorrow or something. So the next stream probably be Adam's. And I'll hopefully try to get Adam on a call later. So anyway, thanks for sticking around and have a good rest of your day.